The Hansa Pilsner Fish River Canoe Marathon, the biggest event of its kind outside of the Doozy here in South Africa. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and ahead of the participants and the more than 1,500 of them competing in a mixture of K1 and K2 boats. 2 days of fierce competition. The first leg is 45 kilometers. The second day, just 35 kilometers. All the entrants have gathered on the east bank of the Grassridge Dam, and among them the biggest names in the business.
Well, nationally, I think it's vital because this is one of the few races where the water is guaranteed. We have a big field, and that encourages the top paddlers to enter our race, and therefore the competition is stiff, and we tend to see records being broken year after year. Canoeists, they are 100% sure that they can enter the race. They know what the water flow will be, and for the top canoeists, they'll compete under any conditions. But the general canoeist, he wants to have an exciting marathon or race, and this race has that. They know that they're not going to have to kill themselves on the water. The water is going to help them quite a bit, and with all the rapids on this race as well, that makes it exceptionally exciting.
You turn to the left around the far end of it. Then go to the
So the paddlers are ready for the start, and among them some of the biggest names in the sport. Graham Bird and his partner Piers Cruikshanks. Of course, Bird is the South African marathon canoeing champion. Also here, Graham Monteith and Robbie Herifelt. They're a very experienced pair. Also look out for Peter Cole, who became the South African K2 River champion after winning the Breda Marathon. And he's paired with the Doozy champion, Martin Dreyer. A little more than 2 kilometers of the peaceful waters of the Grassridge Dam before the first portage. And first out of the water, Graham Bird and Piers Cruikshanks. Nearest to the camera there, the Longley brothers. And the familiar white boat there of Graham Monteith and Robbie Herifelt. Up ahead of them, a short portage on their way to Collet Weir and then Toast Track. There's plenty of water around, so the conditions absolutely perfect for competitive canoeing. Up ahead of them, Keith's Flyover. Just a little more than 5 kilometers into the race, and this is one of the most dramatic stages. There you can see Chalupsky and Bowman, and people struggling here. Of the 800 or so boats in the race, just 169 opted to shoot Keith's Flyover. And as you can see, many came unstuck. In fact, just 91 of those 169 got through the rapid without tipping up. This, of course, the rather more conservative, but certainly safer option. The first day is the longest of the 2 stages, about 45 kilometers. And after Smith's Bridge and Prospect Bridge, the paddlers arrive at Saltpans Weir. The leaders have been in the water now for a little more than 1.5 hours. And at the front, it's Graham Bird, the South African marathon canoeing champion, and his partner, Piers Cruikshanks. Followed by Graham Monteith and Robbie Herifelt. These two starting to get away. Followed by Tarrant and Willis, they're in 3rd place. Pengelly and Bartow are in 4th. And Cole and Dreyer, at the moment, a little disappointing back in 5th place. So before we start getting too excited about their prospects, it's worth bearing in mind that Martin Dreyer has just returned from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Looking a little further down the field, here's 6222, that's Hillier and Ward. And this is 4224, that's Mangold and Smith. Meanwhile, even further down the field, I'm afraid some of the paddlers are having real problems. From here, they've still got about another 17 kilometers to go to the end of stage 1. And we're already losing boats. About 50 boats have already withdrawn. That, of course, of more than 800 boats who started the day. For some, it's a real struggle just to get through the first day. Running repairs, I'm afraid, all part of the business. Meanwhile, up in front, the leaders are approaching the end of the first stage at Knutsford Bridge. The end of 45 kilometres of paddling, and there's nothing to choose between the first three. It's all going to be down to day two for these. Bird and Cruikshanks will cross the line first. Tyrone and Willis are in second. Monteith and Herefelt in third. It's quite a long way back to the fourth boat of Daryl Bartow and Brett Pengele. Here they are, but still in with a chance on day two.
Oh, we had a very, very good day today. We went out hard and we went out with the idea to dominate. We pretty much just sat in behind the guys up to Keith, just relaxed, got settled, had a really good shoot through Keith, and once we were through Keith, we got to the front and then just pushed the pace and just basically stayed in the front and dominated and let the other guys come through. And then at the end here was fairly comfortable.
It started off pretty easy across the dam. We got out about second, we ran up. We had a good run. We got in first, and then from there we took the pull right until Keith's. The pace wasn't too hard there, but it was a little bit hard. And then went through Keith's fine. And after there we just all consolidated, and there was three of us all together till the end of the day.
Yeah, basically everything happened from Keith's down. We were 4 boats going through Keith's with a bit of a gap to the 5th and 6th boat, but everyone together. And the hard thing, Oaks just put up the pace in front, and finished up with a lead that we basically got from Keith's down to here.
The first day certainly took its effect on the entrance of almost 850 boats who entered. Just 758 completed the first day. And there are also 1 or 2 walking wounded as well.
15 stitches in there.
Only 15.
And it's not just flesh and bone that needs patching up.
On a river, so much can happen, but there's 3 boats in it, so hopefully we'll be up there when it counts.
Well, I think that helps if any club or province can have their paddlers together, because in canoeing there's a lot of strategy involved with slipstreaming, forming diamonds, whatever, and chaps who are from the same club will tend to work together. We have seen in races where there's one outsider, that province or club will tend to work against the non-club member.
That's Pengele and Bartow in 4th place. A staggered start to day 2. You've already seen the first 3 go off. And this is Reveille Bridge. Ahead of them 35 kilometres on the second day, so a good deal shorter than the opening day. But this is going to be dramatic with the 3 leaders going off together. It's still the early stages of the second day, but already Graham Monteith and Robbie Herefelt have been dropped just a little by Bird and Cruikshanks and Tyrone and Willis. And here back in 5th place, that's Cole and Dreyer. As we look at some of the paddlers in the main body of the field, up front they're approaching Longacre Bridge, and this is almost the halfway point on the second stage. A perfect vantage point for spectators. And they look beneath them and they see the 3 leading pairs of paddlers. And what a race this is. It's going to take something very dramatic indeed to win this race. Bird and Cruikshanks, Tyrone and Willis, Monteith and Herefelt are back in it. And they're about 5 or 6 minutes behind the leaders. That's Pengele and Bartow. A minute or so back to Cole and Dreyer. They're in 5th place. The leaders will now know that after 2 days at the front, they've got just about 45 minutes or so of paddling left. So they're about to gather themselves for the big sprint. They've got to be so careful. This is the gauging weir. One mistake now could cost them. Into the Marlow chute, and just 11 kilometres to go now. It's Bird and Cruikshanks in the lead, followed by Monteith and Herefelt. Tyrone and Willis there in 3rd, but still anybody's race. The final obstacle in the race, the Cranach Weir, just 4 kilometres or so to go, and the problems here. Bird and Cruikshanks the first to go over, landing on top of them Monteith and Herefelt. And look there, the arrival of Tyrone and Willis. And the people who benefit are Bird and Cruikshanks, and Tyrone and Willis and Monteith and Herefeld are left in the water. And there, I would suggest, the race decided. And there's no way they'll have known about the drama which happened ahead of them, but Pengelly and Bartow have opted to portage at the Craddock Weir. They're comfortably in 4th place. And here back in 5th, Cole and Dreyer, desperate to make up time. Meanwhile, behind them, the Craddock Weir claiming more than its fair share of victims today. Our first view of the women's leaders. Here they are, the South African marathon champion Ankie Malherbe and her partner Jeanette Walder. They're a long way clear in the women's race. So after 80 kilometres of paddling, it was the Craddock Weir just 3.5 kilometres short of the finish that decided the race. Graham Bird and Piers Cruikshanks, here they come. They're going to win in the end quite comfortably. But thanks to the dramas at Craddock Weir, 4 hours, 47 minutes, 44 seconds, and that is a course record. A little more than half a minute later, Taron and Willis come in for second. They were the unlucky losers at Craddock Weir, but not as unlucky as these men. Graham Monteith and Robbie Herefeld, they come in for third. It's the best Fish River Canoe Marathon we've ever seen, and in fact that second day, well, that was a record in itself. Graham Bird and Piers Cruikshanks, deserved winners.
I'm very delighted. It's been a rough last couple of weeks, and it's nice to finally pull off a win and also be dominant.
I'm really chuffed. It's the first time I've been up there, and yeah, first race I've really won, so it's great.
I think we were very relaxed and we were very calm. We also came in fairly, quietly confident. And we said, our game plan when we started was to just go out and take control of the race, dominate the race, just lead from the front, not ever get into trouble. And that was our secret this race. We just totally controlled it and maintained our own pace, so we were never out of our comfort zone.
So confirmation of the results. What a men's race. The first three all within a minute of one another. And the women's champions, Ankie Malherbe and Jeanette Walder, 5 hours, 38 minutes, 45 seconds.